All right. Hey, everyone. I'm Scott.
I'm Craig.
What is the topic?
Character death.
Character death. Okay.
Is it a rare tragedy or an ever-present event?
Could result in players crying, depending on how attached they are.
Yes.
It's fine. Before we get started, important thing I want everybody to do is make sure if you haven't subscribed or you haven't liked this video, do both right now. Make it happen.
Please do.
And if you got comments, put them in there along the way.
Rare tragedy.
Yep.
Pretty much what it sounds like. It should be a once in a campaign, once in a whole story moment.
Okay. So if you're talking about you're a group of people, you're
Yep.
playing a campaign that lasts how many ever sessions?
Yep. Think of the Marvel movies. How many times do our Avengers actually die?
Right. So ever-present risk is meaning you are playing the game on hard mode or insane mode, as some games like to call them. Your character could die. That means if you're in combat, you go down, you have death saving throws. It could mean that the enemies pop a couple extra shots in you and cause you to fail a death saving throw. You could die at any time. It's very likely your DM would say something like, bring 2 or 3 character sheets, because you die, you're going to have to put you back into the story if you want to continue playing.
Yeah.
Maybe that means it's Bob 1, Bob 2, Bob 3. I don't know. You got a preference of which one we talk about first?
Let's go in the order that we introduced it. Let's go rare tragedy.
Rare tragedy. Okay. So, meaning death could mean something. Death means something.
Yes.
It's an event. It's a
story-defining moment. How I'd use it.
All right. I think that's a good reason for it, is that you just don't do it willy-nilly. It supports the story or whatever the arc.
Yep.
Might be motivation for characters.
Emotional and narrative weight is what I call it.
Would Joan be in that category?
Oh, 100%.
Okay.
Also would bring me into my second point, if we're going pro rare tragedy.
Yep.
It encourages that deeper role play. That bonding moments, once again between you and Joan, there was that connection. You're not expecting everybody to die every 5 minutes, so you're like, oh, I can build these bonds, I can build these connections.
Not just throwing your character away, you're just there to hit things or punch things.
Yes.
You're not going to lose your investment.
Yes.
Yeah, all right. I think that's a good way to define it. You don't lose your investment.
Yeah, and then the last point I had for the pros, it's lower stress, higher fun. Okay. If I'm not constantly thinking about every little decision I'm making, because I don't have to look around every exact corner for an assassin, right. I'm just going to be having fun.
And I think that builds a little bit into the other topic we talked about, which is balance versus unbalanced encounters. A little bit
more flexibility in your encounter design.
The other one I had is tone control. Like a rare death keeps the campaign heroic. Paint your characters as more heroic, more cinematic, more epic type of moments. You could build up to those, and the players are willing to go all in more on those.
Yeah. Take bigger swings.
Take bigger swings and not be punished for it. And I think the DM has a responsibility for this, like trying to guide and telegraph players so they understand the danger they're going into. So it's not just, everything's in safe mode, or it's in
you're playing Minecraft on creative.
That's a really good way to describe it. They're telegraphing it, but they're also, more importantly, describing it at the beginning of the thing. Assuming you do a session 0, and if you haven't checked that one out, go check it out. Session 0 should be communicated what kind of play this is. And I think that's one of the items we had on our checklist of what is this going to go? Is death a present risk? Is it not? That's one of the items we had on our checklist.
And that's one of the campaigns I want to run for us, is a super crunchy survival.
Yeah.
You won't get arcane focuses. You won't get anything. You'll have to use spell components and all kinds of nonsense.
Yep. That sounds great.
For me, cons, lower tension, lower urgency. If death is impossible, the players are going to feel safe. You're not going to have that almost flow to it. If I'm thinking death is around the corner, I'm going to be constantly moving.
It's a good point. Good point.
And you could feel almost like a loss of challenge too. Because that's the number one thing I hear about D&D 5e or 5.5. Oh, it's like you're superheroes. There's no challenge after a certain level. And I think it reduces realism. So those are the cons I have.
Ever-present risk. If you can't die, you're not alive. Right?
100%.
So this is making sure that you have a risk, that you have, there's real stakes with real consequences, that, a death is always on the table. You could die. You do something and it happens. And I think part of this is setting a tone with it, where when you're doing death saving rolls, the only person that knows that death saving roll is you and the DM.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If the person went down and they were critically hurt, there's an urgency to it, right?
But also in safe mode, the monsters don't target you when you're down.
Exactly. Where the monster might be like, I want to make sure you're dead.
Oh, you're down? I'm going to start eating you. No.
Yeah. I think number one point here is the tension requires risk. Mm-hmm. So as a DM, you have to make sure that risk is always telegraphed and they know. It doesn't have to mean be like, watch out, you could die. But it could mean that, if the players are in a situation, there's a clear risk in how.
We're going to go back to The Hobbit. If Boromir hadn't done what he did, his death wouldn't have meant as much because of the stakes. When he's having the hobbits run, that moment of his heroic sacrifice means way more because you're like, oh.
Yeah.
Death is happening.
So the other one is world integrity.
Okay.
And that, this is kind of reiterating the same points we've already said, but there is a world that feels like it's real and it's dangerous. Mm-hmm. It's not just everything has got bubble wrap around it. Your characters,
not Rainbow and Sunshine.
Yeah, it's not Rainbow.
Not My Little Pony.
You could walk through a desert and get bit by a snake that is venomous, and away you go. You're gonna have a bad day. So I guess, let's think about this. Is what are some of the ways that we can convey that the world is deadly without making the characters? What are ways we could telegraph that the world is deadly?
It'd be through your animals. Traveling is a lot harder than it is.
If you start popping off NPCs, is that gonna...
That could be one way to do it too, depending on what it is. But also, for me, that brings another good point. Your players are going to think more strategically. They're going to think about their resources. They're going to do more of those cool combo moves. And teamwork is going to be way more important. Because if you're building it to where you need everybody's help to survive, you're going to have to build that teamwork. As opposed to safe mode, everybody can go Nova at any moment.
Yeah, that's true. I think the key is to let the players know that things are more serious, but not punish them where they are feeling that oppressive weight all the time.
Yeah, you gotta give them those fun moments. So then you can bring the emotional damage.
Emotional damage.
Hey, you can't heal emotional damage. Hit points, they can rest. I'm cool. You gotta attack what's not on the character sheet.
The other one is encouraging the smart play. So players might want to scout, they can plan, they can think tactically about
strategic thinking and teamwork. Yeah.
It's just not barrel in and let's hope for the best. They're going to scout it out and hey, rogue, go sneak in there and see what's up.
Use your druid that can wild shape to do reconnaissance.
Yeah, exactly. You've got options to be able to go and check things out instead of just, we're going to burst in and it'll all be all right. It'll work out somehow. Or
you spent 3 hours planning and as soon as the first thing goes off, nothing works.
Okay, so some of the cons of this, players, they have bad tactics or poor plannings. If they're reckless, it could really matter a lot. They could easily lose a character.
Or three.
And that could really result in players, if they're not prepared for it, can really result in players not wanting to play.
So, player frustration.
Yeah, I think any of these points that we're going to be talking about with the cons can be countered by good communication.
Right.
The word of the year.
Just knowing people I play with, high anxiety. If you're constantly on high alert, you're going to be suspicious of everything. It's going to make you less likely to avoid bold decisions. You're not going to have those connections player to player. You're not going to have those connections with even NPCs or anything. Which leads me into my next one, which is narrative disruption. People are constantly dying. How are you going to build the story forward?
Just because you're it's on hard mode, good luck, doesn't mean that a DM can't modulate what they're doing to some level and just make it so it's not there. It just means there's more of a risk. If you fail your death saving throws, some magical cleric doesn't walk by and revive you. And, there's something. Like there is a limit of how far you can go. So just kind of the DM needs to like
Find that,
it,
that middle ground.
that middle ground balance for it. Kind of thinking about points of where you want. So is fun more important than fair?
I like that, especially with newer players.
Yep. So just trying to understand, like asking that question in session 0. Is fun more important than fair? Like, do you want me? Is your expectation I'm going to bend the rules for you, and like getting what your players are expecting, and then communicating what you're planning on doing?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, well, I'm going to hold you accountable if you do silly things, and it's going to happen.
Yep.
You know, like you get stabbed, you could die. Like,
yeah.
That's kind of the way it works.
Play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Exactly.
That should be the title of this.
You know, the other question is, does the plot armor ruin the immersion? I think we've agreed with yes, it can.
Yes.
Is death the only meaningful consequence? That's where I'm going to say no. There's other consequences that can happen. There's other things that you can do to be able to let people know that things are dangerous. Should players know the campaign's lethality up front? Absolutely.
100%.
Yes.
Yes.
If you don't, that's...
If I think I'm going to play super heroic easy mode and you give me, like, feeding me into a meat chipper, I'm going to be so mad and I'll flip a table real quick.
Yeah, you better take a moment to reset some expectations. So
yes.
But what I have is a DM checklist of when to kill a character.
Okay, how many points do we got?
We have 8. Used to decide if the character death is earned, fair, and impactful. Not random or frustrating.
Yeah.
That is the goal here.
Yes.
And I think this applies whether it's a tragedy or it's an ever-present threat. You don't want... We've already kind of talked about it. You shouldn't just be popping off the characters left and right. Like it's...
Yes.
Whether it's an ever-present risk, there's still things you need to do.
Yes.
All right, so first one. You ready for number 1?
Yes.
Do you have to count?
No, there was a hair on my finger.
Was it the player's choice? Here's the first one. Was it the player's choice?
I like that one.
So what does that mean? Did the player take a known risk? Were they acting reckless, bold, or desperate? And did they ignore clear warning signs or danger? Did the player know that they're taking a risk? Like, I sacrificed myself for... And were they acting reckless or bold? So it's kind of like they were pushing the limit, so it's a little bit more, right?
Yeah.
And then did they do something stupid? So it's kind of like 3 levels of player choice. So here's number 2 on the list. Was the danger clearly telegraphed? Right? So you're talking about Joan. I think that one would be there. Ronan was doing the body swap thing. Mm-hmm. That was not something that just happened magically out of the nowhere. It was telegraphed ahead of time. There was swapping that happened. We knew that there was a whatever. I think I hit Benny once, or I hit somebody else once.
Yeah, he sanctified the region, so basically anybody that Heath hit, he could swap places with them.
Exactly. So there was. It wasn't just hey, guess what? This thing happened. It's, was there a moment like, oh crap, I can't believe that happened to Joan? Absolutely. Like WTF to that one. But I know it sounds silly and it sounds like, well, you shouldn't do it, but you have to mentally prepare your people for some of these things. Mm-hmm. And that means that you have to explain the rules of how things work, to understand this combination of thing that is a surprise, or you've seen them trying it in smaller ways ahead of time. Was the danger clearly telegraphed? Did you describe the threat as deadly or overwhelming? Were there clues, rumors, or visual warnings? Did the players have a chance to retreat or rethink? Okay,
I feel better about Joan now.
So the last point I want to make about number 2 is players should feel the danger before they die. It shouldn't be a surprise. In real life, is that the case? Maybe not. Maybe not. Depends on the tragedy. But in a story, we can definitely control that. And we're talking about making it meaningful. Number 3, was the encounter fair? This goes into our balanced and unbalanced encounters, right? And honestly, this is part of the reason why we waited to talk about this until we've talked about other topics first, because
that's at the groundwork.
Set the groundwork. So, we talked about a couple points here. Did session 0, did you communicate? Balanced versus unbalanced encounters, right? We have a couple of these things that are happening. There's probably more, and I'm just blanking out. But there's other sessions that we've talked about that
Right.
are really touching all these points.
100%.
It's a
Love it.
web of shenanigans. Anyways, was the counter fair? Was the fight balanced or intentional deadly without warning? Did the players have meaningful options? You know, they're not trapped or helpless or something like that. And were the rules applied consistently? So there wasn't a, you know, like this time it happens, but you know, I'm frustrated at you, and this time it's not going to happen, or it is going to happen, or whatever the case might be. So, number 4. Ready for number 4? Did the dice decide, or did the dice truly decide it? I know this one seems kind of weird, but did the dice truly decide?
Okay, keep going.
And was the result of the actual rolls not a DM feint?
Oh, yeah.
Did you avoid fudging against the player? Was there a chance to survive?
If it's an important roll and I think that it could kill you, I'm going to roll it out in front.
Yeah.
I want everybody to be on the same page.
There's going to be multiple moments up to that point.
Oh, yeah.
That determine it.
Oh,
It is not just one thing that's choosing this. It's multiple things.
You mean like
compounded.
being a glass cannon and being a frontline fighter?
Yeah, exactly. So when I say did the dice truly decide it, I want to rewrite that one too. Is the DM being a dick? So that's number 4. Number 5?
Yes.
Does it serve the story? Will this death create a meaningful moment? Does it impact the party, world, or narrative?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
And is this climactic or emotionally charged situation? Right? Well, we know, right, Joan?
Yep.
All right. She checks the boxes on all 3 of those. So the point here is a good death becomes part of the campaign's legend.
Yes.
Right? You know, that moment is going to be something that is going to shape and evolve the rest of Bellum for the whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay, number 6. We're getting close here. Were there other consequences available?
Ooh.
So
like
not just... This kind of goes to our points that we were making before. I mean, it doesn't always have to be violence.
Break their connection to their magic.
Break the connection to the magic. There's other consequences that can happen for things. So,
Spirit webs.
so kind of hitting the sub-checklist on this one is, could they be captured instead? Could they suffer a lasting injury or scar? Could they lose gear, allies, reputation? And, you know, death is not the only tool for consequences.
Reputation is often overlooked, and I do like that one.
Yeah. Like, oh, yeah, I want to go do another adventure. Like, yeah, well, you know, you kind of messed up the last one. Right? No.
Not only that, but it could be your reputation in the group. It could be in your overall faction or whatever. There's a lot of ways you can use reputation.
Absolutely.
And it is an underutilized tool.
Number 7, you ready for it?
Mm-hmm.
Will this hurt the table more than it helps?
Oh, probably.
Yeah.
100% hurt the table.
So
And sometimes you want to do that.
is the player deeply attached to this character? Will this create frustration or disengagement? Anyways, realizing that I have some trauma that I have not processed all the way, despite thinking otherwise. We're gonna move on to number 8.
Okay. Number 8.
Is there a path back? We're talking about DM checklist, right?
Yeah.
Does your world allow revival magic? So this is where of how lethal is deadly.
Yeah.
Is there a quest, cost, or trade-off to return? Would the player be excited by death/comeback arc? So one of the things that the D&D movie did, Honor Among Thieves, is they set the whole tone around a death. You know, does that allow revival magic? Yes. Well, there's an artifact that lets you revive, right? We're talking about the D&D movie. Is there a quest, cost, or trade-off in return? Yeah, I think there is. Like, you can only do it once and then it's gone. Character has to make a choice about things. I don't want to completely spoil it, but the character has to make a choice between things and what they want to do. They only have one chance. There is a cost. There is a quest that they have to do. That's what the whole freaking movie is kind of about.
Pretty much.
And there, I mean, not completely, but you know,
90% of it.
Yeah, 90% of it, the thing, and then to the people realize it was all about the friends you made along the way, whatever.
My God,
and
My Little Pony set in D&D.
You know what? That kind of is. It kind of is. It is My Little Pony, isn't it?
Okay, we got to start playing 6 Degrees of My Little Pony.
The ultimate question is, how do you run and how do you communicate with your players on death. How does death work in there?
Mm-hmm.
How hard of a mode are you going to let your players be on? Right? If we're trying to summarize this, how hard of a mode? And could it mean that death doesn't need to mean something? And could it mean that, if you can't really die, risk, it's just everybody's in bubble wrap? Which way are you going to go? And it's important that you telegraph and tell people and communicate what their expectations are.
Mix them together.
Yeah, I think that's the best strategy. Mix it together.
That's what a lot of these come down to. You use a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B, and you get column C. All the pros and all the cons.
Exactly. If you have comments, questions, thoughts, share them down below.
Please.
If you haven't done it already, like, subscribe, click on the thumbs up button, all the things, depending on how you're watching this or
that
what
bell
you're doing.
So you get notified when we drop cool new stuff.
Do it.
Please.
Do not screw that up.
Yes.
We're counting on you. We're counting on you.
Be part of the Emperor's Legion.
All right. Well, we appreciate y'all, and we're gonna keep doing this every Monday. We're gonna be dropping these, being awesome, and until next time when we
See you at the table.
bingo.